Hello, Capricorn. Welcome to 7 Star Tarot. This is a spiritual tarot reading for end of May, which, if it resonates for you, I hope will help you to see things from a different perspective and to inform your actions, thoughts, and behaviors going forward. As tarot is a holographic map of the universe at a particular point in time, if this reading's not an accurate map for you, then please click off and check out any of your other placements. I'm speaking to my organized, structured, stable, logical, grounded, practical, sensible, yet mystical sea goats, Capricorn. Some cards came out in the pre-shuffle, Capricorn. First one that came out was the Lovers. So this is obviously about a love situation, but the Four of Spirit came out in the reverse. This one's called Foundation and Achievement. So this is like the equivalent of the Four of Wands. So it's about a happy home, stability, but upside down, lack of stability, loss of stability. We're talking about a relationship which hasn't achieved stability, or which maybe was stable and loving at one point, but has broken up or in separation, basically. So we had the Hermit come out. So you may have been in a period of separation, seeking inner wisdom, going within, trying to sift through. He's standing on a big pile of cogs here, like he's sifting through the beliefs, the thoughts, the desires, the ways of seeing things that don't work for him anymore. So you may have been going through a process yourself, a process of withdrawing from the world. Maybe you've tried to withdraw yourself from listening to people's opinions of what your life should be, other people's beliefs about the world. We need to shut the world out sometimes. We need to retreat. If you haven't done so, maybe this could be a suggestion to do so, but I get the feeling that this is something which has already happened. We have the Four of Swords. It's in the reverse. This guy here is sort of just taking a nap, but it's kind of weird. He looks like he's kind of given up on his situation, basically. He's in a bad situation. He knows it's a bad situation. These swords are actually attached to like a timepiece, so that they're going to drop at some point. They're attached to like a chain, and so when the clock runs out, basically the swords will drop. So I think this guy knows what's going to happen, but he has just decided to kind of give up on trying to control the situation, because it's a kind of like uncontrollable situation. So I think this relationship came to a point where you weren't able to influence the outcome, basically, and you had to retreat. So the Four of Swords was in the reverse, which is kind of saying to me that you're at a point where you're beyond, or you did reach a point where you were beyond exhaustion. You'd had to totally give up all ideas of control of everything and just literally retreat, go inside yourself, go into the Hanged Man position. Sort of like hang yourself upside down. So putting the feet are above the head, in the Hanged Man. So like kind of practicality, and like connection to nature, connection to your inner nature, putting those above what your previous ideas had been. It's a card which invites us to, of course, gain a different perspective on the situation. So it's similar to the Hermit. So I think you spent a lot of time, and again, it's a withdrawing from society, withdrawing from the normal ways of doing things. seeking an alternative perspective, and also like the passage of time is kind of indicated because there's vines growing over his bonds, so he's kind of like enforced. You may feel like you've had an enforced separation from the world, Capricorn, after this relationship was turned upside down and you weren't able to do anything to alter the outcome except to withdraw and to look at what has occurred. And so we have the moon. It did come out in the reverse, but the moon is a dark card at the best of times, but this one in the steampunk deck is extra dark. These two sort of ominous towers looming to either side of the like mechanical lobster, which is sort of making its way out of the waters, out of the depths of the unconscious. The moon is obviously, related to the tides and to the natural rhythms of life, but more importantly to the deep unconscious of the waters of the unconscious rather. And so, yes, what is coming from the unconscious at this time, when you've withdrawn yourself from the world, you have the opportunity for insights, latent emotions, thought patterns, belief patterns from the unconscious to arise. The moon is also very much a card of a dark night of the soul, so you've probably been through a very dark time. But in order to examine our shadow sides and the things that we keep in our shadow, the things which hide and that we hide from ourselves in our unconscious, it can be extremely challenging. In the reverse, we are looking at a kind of lack of emotional stability, so instability. Probably feeling quite fragile, feeling, maybe even at times out of control, losing control, because of the deep feelings emerging from the unconscious. But you've withdrawn yourself from society or from, a lot of contact with other people. Or if you haven't yet, this is what will be occurring, in order to bring to light those things which are in the subconscious. And here we have the Two of Swords, which again has the moon. This one has the moon on it again. So yes, we're looking at those unconscious urges, and she's very poised, this Two of Swords lady. She's balancing there with her two swords, and the swords represent her image of herself and her image of her world, maybe the image of her two sides of herself. But blindfolded, keeping oneself blindfolded, maybe not wanting to see some uncomfortable truths about ourselves. There's a very poised kind of like presentational aspect to this card, so I almost feel like it's in the book it's sort of explaining about the idea of kind of shedding these like kind of made up ways or kind of ways of presenting ourselves to the world that aren't quite false and that kind of take a lot of effort to maintain. This whole facade here takes a lot of effort to maintain. So maybe through this is saying like through this process of kind of giving up on, and realizing you had to just give up on this relationship, this love relationship, you had to retreat. You had to gain a new perspective and to become aware of the urges and the drives and the emotions, the deep inner emotions that were kind of driving you. And maybe there was like a letting go through that process, through the loss of kind of emotional stability and the loss of a sense of stability that you'd had in this previous relationship. A sense of kind of just letting go of what people think of you, like what people think of you. I feel like you've let go of certain beliefs and the need to be seen perhaps in a certain way by people, or maybe simply the need to have other people around, maybe having this sort of degree of now self-reflection has kind of freed you from the necessity to perform for people or to present yourself in a particular way. There's like a sense of sort of letting go of the unnecessary facades that we have to present or that we feel that we have to present to the world, but that we really don't. So let's see what else is going on here. Can we have some more energies? I feel like this is stuff which has kind of come before. So where are we at now with this then, please? 6 of Pentacles in the reverse. Where are we at with this now? What's happening now for our Capricorns? Okay, this is a little story. 6 of Pentacles in reverse. So this is saying that clearly there was a lack of reciprocation, a lack of equal give and take. Someone's been getting all the tea. Someone's been taking all the tea, and someone's just waiting there with an empty cup. So, yeah, was this relationship very one-sided? I think this relationship was so one-sided and took so much from you that you had to retreat in such a significant way, that you had to retreat like in a painful retreat. You had to like take this retreat that as though you'd been injured, the kind of retreat that you'd have as though you'd been injured, as though you'd been damaged, as though you'd been psychologically, emotionally wounded. And I think you really have had to readdress some kind of core parts of your personality in this process. And I think, you just got fucking pissed off and with having to, like, just being the person who's not getting the fucking tea. Like, come on, guys. This person just keeps on putting themselves first. This person who you were with, who obviously there's still a connection to. Obviously there's still a connection to this person. Page of Swords in the reverse. Page of Swords in the reverse. The Page of Swords upright is kind of... this guy's a scholar. He's sort of researching. The Page of Swords can be the researcher. Page of Swords in reverse is like combative. Maybe ignorant, actually. Ignorant. Not having kind of higher intentions. And I think this person who you were dealing with was quite selfish, quite ignorant, not really interested in knowledge and in bettering themselves. The Page of Swords wants to better himself. Look. He's a serious guy, He's like, he wants to put himself across, his best foot forward. You know, he may not have much experience in life, but he's standing on all of these books, these old books, which he's, you know, which he's educated himself with. He's clearly a scholar. So I think inverted, and I think we're in this person's energy here. We have someone quite ignorant, someone maybe who doesn't listen, someone who doesn't respect or revere knowledge, maybe. Queen of Pentacles in the reverse. Someone who isn't abundant. You know, obviously upright, extremely abundant, kind, giving, generous because she has plenty to for herself, but yeah, very growth oriented, you know, part of nature, in tune with nature. So I think in the reverse we have someone almost kind of going against nature, or somebody who can't be relied on, who isn't giving, who isn't abundant, who's always feeling like a lack. Quite a low level toxic person, so it's sort of selfish, self-oriented. But yeah, but what okay, a few ways we could go here. We could dig into this person a bit more and try and understand, you know, the psychology behind the always wanting to kind of take all the tea, not being interested in education and self-development, not being abundant. We have someone who's in lack here, don't we? We have someone who's in lack, maybe come from not a very good upbringing. And yeah, but I'm going to move on to these cards here, though. We'll maybe come back to those. So we have the King of Swords, the Samurai King of Swords, who is aware of the light and the dark, who has... the samurai were very interested in honor, weren't they? Valor, respect, pride, justice, judgment, you know, the honor of the family, beauty, of course. So, yes, there's an intelligence, obviously, to the King of Swords. I think this is your response again. So we're looking at your response to this person. This person who was selfish, self-absorbed, quite ignorant, not very giving, causing this unstable foundation in what was at one point, you know, clearly a loving relationship, but, you know, then turned clearly very, very wrong, very sour. Went downhill pretty quick by the looks of it. So he's got this bird over his eye, which it always intrigues me, which I think is to do with the ability to kind of perceive the dark as well as the light. So to see the shadow side of himself and others. I think you saw this shadow side of this person, okay? Obviously, this person has another side to them, which isn't their shadow, but I think it looks like they fell into their shadow side for whatever reason. And you were able to see them falling into that shadow side, and you noticed it. And so you took up your sword in defense, because the star is in reverse, because there was a loss of hope, a loss of desire for this. Not a loss of desire. Sorry, I don't think there was a loss of desire. I think if there was a loss of desire, there wouldn't have had to be this very deep, quite painful healing process. You know, the star in reverse is depression, tears, upset, sadness, grief, crying. You know, so you may have been very sad when you saw the shadow of this person emerge. when you saw this person become selfish, become self-absorbed. Maybe this person wasn't always that way. Something happened. Something happened. Why did this person become self-absorbed like this? Why did they become so selfish? Oh, that's quite a few cards, but okay. We will take them. Okay, we're going to go this way. So, third eye chakra inverted. So this person was not seeing into the future, not looking into the future, not paying attention to their own intuition, suffering in silence. This person felt quite alone, maybe. Maybe they felt that you wouldn't understand, or that you didn't understand whatever their issues were. So we have shadow. And there's a mirror here. This person is looking at themselves in a mirror. But because the third eye chakra was closed, they were not able to see. I think there was a lot of projection going on here. This person projected their shadow, maybe onto you. Maybe blamed you for things that were actually they were causing. Felt unable to speak. This is the Nine of Swords, isn't it? Suffering in silence. Trapped in their mind, anxious because of their lack of awareness with their crown chakra. The mind kind of turns inwards, doesn't it? Without the ability to see outside of oneself, the mind turns inwards, and in turning inward, projects outwards. Projects the shadow outwards. So I think they projected the shadow outwards to you. Spiritual union, the shadow did not allow them to be aware of this deep spiritual union. Look, this Lover's card is just such a beautiful card. The man is like wearing his little, he's a bird, and the girl has her bird feathers on as well. This is a match. This is a match, which is why it was so incredibly painful to let it go. When this person fell into their shadow, it was very, very painful. They were unable to see the spiritual union. And they sacrificed. They sacrificed it because of their third eye chakra being inverted. They sacrificed this because they saw their own shadow in you, and it's probably scared the shit out of them. So they sacrificed this spiritual union, trying to achieve positive movement forward, but this person was unable to achieve positive movement forward because they were trapped in their mind and unawakened to their own intuitive abilities. Unfortunately, it's almost like the ingredients were there for something beneficial, but they weren't able to look at their own stuff, and that caused you to, through going through this healing journey, caused you to take up arms in order to protect yourself as the King of Swords, to be able to see the light and the shadow, because this is your shadow work here. This is your shadow work, the Hermit, the Four of Swords in reverse, the Hanged Man going upside down to view everything from a different perspective, the Moon in reverse, going through the dark night of the soul, experiencing emotional instability and all of the things arising from the unconscious that were unpleasant, the Two of Swords, blindfolding yourself to the truth, and then ultimately removing the blindfold and removing the facade of who you are and who you think you're supposed to be. taking up arms as the King of Swords, losing hope and becoming sad and grief-stricken and depressed, unable to maybe to eat and to sleep at times, but it ultimately going into the High Priestess, pulling back the curtain of your own unconscious. And look, here's the moon again, this time the crescent moon, less ominous, pulling back the curtain of your own unconscious mind, tapping into your own intuition, into the well of emotions coming, and launching your ship onto that sea, because you now understand the tides of the unconscious, because in silence where you now sit, you sail the tides of the unconscious in a way that this person was never able to do and probably still isn't able to do. So where do we want to go from here? Let's have some positive movement forward, I think. And so we will, let's take some of these. No, let's take this one. Positive movement forward for our Capricorns. What do our Capricorns need to know, please? What do our Capricorns need to know? What is a map of the future to take Capricorns from where we are to where we're going? Okay. Okay. Six of Swords, moving on, moving to calmer waters, tapping back into, and again, it's the solitary energy here. She's sort of floating on a cloud above a desert island. She is anchored, and she is connected to a star. So, moving, we know that moving beyond this is what's occurring at the moment, and there is hope. In those moments, in those moments of silence, of introspection, there is a glimmer of hope there, and that's what this is about. Reminding yourself of the glimmer of hope. The Hierophant in reverse. So, acknowledging that the wisdom that tradition and a conventional way of doing things can give us, but in reverse, setting ourselves free from what other people think, what society thinks, and going our own way, really, I think. And also moving on from the heartbreak of a relationship that didn't follow the rules in a way. This person, I don't think, didn't follow the rules of engagement, because of how not self-reflective, but because of how kind of contained they were, and how they segmented themselves away from this union. Yeah, they were obviously unable to follow the rules of engagement, like rules of basic honor, respect. Honor. That's why this guy came out, because this person acted dishonorably. Nine of Swords in reverse. Again, there's lots of eyes in this one, so she's sort of being watched. She's feeling anxious about being watched. But in reverse, moving away from caring about what others think. And also maybe trying not to kind of trying not to sort of spy on this person in a way as well. I think, moving forward to acknowledge the truth of what's occurred without kind of, continually seeking more information about it. The Emperor in reverse and the Queen of Swords in reverse. Wow, why so many reversals in what we're trying to achieve here? The Emperor in reverse. I think this is about letting go of like a kind of rigidity. I mean, this is a very nice emperor. He's quite sort of like nature oriented. But then the emperor typically is, can be quite rigid. Again, quite sort of hierarchical. Sort of like maybe letting go of whatever these. Okay, so the Hanged Man is kind of like viewing things from a different perspective, and the Emperor in reverse, like letting go of. I mean, Emperor in reverse can be arrogant as well, like having enough of arrogant people, basically. Moving away from people who won't commit to you. People that get you up in your head and have you feel self-conscious. Away from arrogant people who kind of have to have it only their way, and away from a Queen of Swords in reverse, away from people that won't kind of acknowledge truth when they see it. So it's funny, again, it's all very like away from something rather than a kind of like positive direction. So the energy I get for this one, Capricorn, is that you're still trying to move away. We're trying to move away from this energy, and we are moving away. We are gaining a different perspective. Still very much in the energy of kind of self-reflection, of withdrawal from things, the Six of Swords, very much a kind of withdrawal type energy. The Hermit, the Hanged Man, even the King of Swords is kind of withdrawn to a degree. He's kind of defending himself behind his sword. The High Priestess behind the curtains here. It's like, we're sort of moving away. We're withdrawing ourselves at this point in time. I feel withdrawing ourselves, and at some point there will be an end to the withdrawal. What can the Starseed Oracle tell us? Thank you. Star family, you're part of a team of souls. Call in support. Can you see that? It's quite reflective, isn't it? But yeah, that is definitely a star. You may have Aquarius in your chart as well, but with the star there, the star is in the Six of Swords as well. Reconnect to your divinity. Don't let yourself go dark like this and I don't think you will. I don't think you are. I think you're moving beyond the darkness now. We had to visit the shadow to come back to the light, didn't we? Yes, come back to the light. At some stage, we were each a part of a soul cluster, a gathering of souls who broke away from one another to experience themselves individually. Those who are part of your soul cluster are part of your star family. Your star family are those souls who are cut from a similar cosmic cloth. You haven't just experienced lifetimes together, your souls were once actually one. It's very common for star family members to incarnate at similar times, to work with anchoring a similar frequency of light, and to cross paths with each other. You know that someone is part of your star family when you feel like you know and remember them from the moment you meet. They feel instantly familiar and uncomfortable. Time both passes quickly and stretches when you're with them. You feel more yourself with them than with anyone else. It can sometimes feel like looking in the mirror, because in a way you are. Often you'll go out of your way to help those in your star family, instinctively knowing it's part of your path. When a star family member dies, you feel it very deeply, regardless of how long you knew them. A certain soul mourning or soul breaking occurs. Think about the people in your life. Who do you feel is part of your star family? If this card comes up in a spread, it's likely that you've met someone who's part of your star family, or you're about to. Shit. Oh, that is just... I mean, clearly this person was kind of, this is this person, part of your star family. And they've, been called into the shadow realms, or called themselves, or descended themselves into the shadow realm. And obviously this has been an incredibly difficult journey for you. This is the start. Yeah, this is difficult. This is difficult. What does the universe have to say to us? Oh, the last reading was tough as well, Capricorn. So sorry, but I do have to I have to read what comes out, so what does the universe have for us? Can we leave it on a positive note, please? But this is the story, isn't it? This is the shadow work. It's not all, butterflies and rainbows. This is the reality of the situation. You lost someone. We've lost someone who was part of our star family. This is a painful experience. Very moody, this pack, aren't you? Come on, universe. What do you have to say? What do you have to say? Not a lot right now. What does the universe have to say to Capricorn, please? Oh. Yeah, we're going to have a few cards here, I think. Thank you. Can we have one more? Oh. Okay, that'll do. All right. The universe works fast when I'm having fun. Yeah, so this is I get that this has seemed like a slow process. But remember, when you're busy and when you're having fun, the universe works fast. When I lean toward love, I am led. When I lean toward love, I am led. So yeah, just bringing a kind of loving energy into your space. When I lean on certainty and faith, I change my mind about the world I see. Yeah, so what are the things that you can have faith in? What are the things that you can have certainty in? Oneness is my true nature. So yeah, just getting in touch with the fact that we are all one. We're not separate from each other. You're not separate from the world. My fearless freedom lights up the world. Oh. Doesn't like this one. My fearless freedom lights up the world. So yeah, enjoy your freedom, really, Enjoy being alone. I know it can be difficult at times, but if you are alone, there is a stream of love supporting my dreams. So yeah, just never forget that you this is all your path, All of this that's occurred is part of your path, and it's this stream of love that supports you. Stream of consciousness, from source, from God, from the oneness that is everything. that we all are. That's what I have for you, Capricorn. I hope it was helpful. See you next time.